welcomed me with open arms, which I'm grateful for. We tend to occasionally hang out and it's never really been an issue. Recently, I began planning a surprise party for my husband's birthday and I figured I would reach out to his friends about planning to see if they wanted to help. This is where my husband's best friend Adam comes in. Adam has been my husband's friend for about 10 years now. Adam is married with a wife of his own who I happen to be friends with. Adam was very supportive of my party planning ideas and was insistent on helping me out. Many times he offered to drive me around the city to get to different stores since my husband and I don't have a car, which I would decline since I didn't want to cause him any hassle. He would offer to use his place of work as the location for the party. Again, I would decline because my husband isn't the type of person to enjoy birthday celebrations like that, but I would let him know I appreciated his kind offer and that I felt he was being a very kind and generous friend. He was fairly persistent, but I figured it was just because he wanted to make his friend's birthday memorable. Fast forward to this week, Adam texted me and told me he had his birthday gift for my husband, but he would need help loading it up in his car. I asked about what it was, but he just said a joke about how I would tell my husband so I couldn't know. I didn't think anything of it and agreed to help him today. We drove to the store, got the gift and drove back. He put the car in park and as I started getting out, he reached out to me and kissed me. I was taken aback and immediately pulled away. I asked him what he was doing and he said that he thought I was cute and he wanted to shoot a shot. I asked him about my husband and he said that he didn't need to know. I was just overwhelmed and couldn't begin to wrap my mind around what was happening. He apologized and said he thought I was sending signals because I told him once that he was a kind and generous person. He then told me that my husband couldn't know about this because my husband would blame me and divorce me. He also tried to get in my head by telling me if I told I'd have to go back to my home country, which I found really weird. I got out of the car and just went inside. My husband was at work, so he doesn't know and I'm having a lot of conflicted feelings. I know I want to tell my husband because of how Adam went about this proves that he doesn't have my husband's best intentions in mind and is incredibly selfish. My issue arises in how to go about telling him. I am super upset about this whole thing because it's a weird place to be in. I doubt my husband won't believe me because we have a good sense of trust in each other, but I am nervous as to how this will affect our relationship. I'm nervous he'll redirect those feelings of betrayal towards me. If that's the case, would it be justified? I just need some guidance on how to approach this so that it causes the most minimal damage possible to my husband. I know it's bound to happen, but I obviously don't want to hurt him if I can help it. Update: my husband's best friend just kissed me and I'm unsure of what to do. My husband came home a few days ago and I surprised him with his favorite meal. I had a day off and had become a ball of nervous energy, so I had cleaned the house, did laundry, and cooked. I wanted the environment to be as stress-free as possible for my husband because I knew it was going to be hard on him. So, we sat down to eat and he had been able to tell that something was bothering me and he asked me what was going on. I told my husband as gently as I could and he was understandably upset. Thankfully, Adam didn't get to him before I did and he believed me. He was really mad at Adam for kissing me, but especially mad at him for threatening me with deportation. We talked it through and after a few hours, came to the conclusion that, in order to protect my residency, we would file a police report for assault against Adam. As we talked, Adam sent me a text message telling me that he hoped I remembered what he told me yesterday as he wouldn't want to see me forced to go back to my home country. He also told me that he was thinking about me and that there were things we needed to talk about. He had no knowledge of me telling my husband yet, so I can only assume this was his way of trying to let me know that he'd be blackmailing me from now on if I didn't do whatever he wanted. This message upset my husband even further and it made me feel quite uneasy and scared. My husband and I were quick to go to the police station the same night I told him and they freaked out over Adam's most recent text. They agreed it seemed like a veiled threat, so I filed a police report and they're currently investigating the situation. The next day, I texted Adam's wife when I knew Adam was working to see if she wanted to meet up and she agreed. We met up and I told her what happened. I showed her the text and unfortunately, she didn't take it too well. It was understandable, but everything I was worried about ended up happening. She seemed to think that I flirted with him, and called me a homewrecker. I know she was probably just lashing out, but it still made me feel bad for the both of us because while Adam was threatening me, he also destroyed his wife's trust. Shortly after I met with his wife, Adam started blowing up my phone, but I didn't answer. I assumed his wife had confronted him or maybe the police called him. I'm not sure, but he then sent me a bunch of texts that just got crazier and crazier to the point where I was starting to feel like I wasn't safe. I called my husband who was at work, and he told me that Adam was also blowing his phone too. We ended up calling the police again because Adam was threatening to come to our apartment and do what he should have done when I was in his car. He was detained by police for making what they deemed a credible threat against me. It's still an ongoing situation, and I'm a bit upset by how this whole thing essentially